So when it's only the 5th day of your 25-day holiday and it's only the 2nd day in the country that you're mainly going to spend most of the time, is it a wise idea to do something where people have told you it could be a bit risky? Might end up breaking a leg or something. Let's find out. Hi, it's Dave T here, and this is day 5 of our big trip around Sweden, and this is the episode 2. So if you want to see episode 1, which is how we got here via the Netherlands, Germany and Denmark, then please go and check that out. In terms of where we are, we're at a place called Johnstrm, which is on the kind of southwest of Sweden on the coast, just a small place on a kind of peninsula, and fairly basic campsite, Blazengard campsite. It's kind of partly aimed at cyclists and things like that, with a B&B stroke youth hostel on site. Facilities are fairly basic, but it's a nice open and fairly relaxed feel to the site. They do actually host weddings here, but also concerts and stuff occasionally. There was a concert a couple of days before we got here, which is why there's a big sound stage set up in one of the fields. So today, haven't got an awful lot planned. We're going to just have a mooch around the area, do a bit of shopping, and just generally kind of get over the past 3 days of travelling, because we've done about 500 miles of towing over the past 3 days. And then tomorrow we've got planned, we're going to visit somewhere where we've been told it might be a bit risky to visit, and it's possibly not a great idea, but we're going to try anyway because we saw it online and we really wanted to go there. So stay tuned for that, but we'll do that tomorrow. So for now, just relax, get a few things sorted out, and then probably head out to explore a bit of this area. The beautiful coastal city of Helingbury was a 30-minute drive from Johnstrm and hosting the World Freestyle and Rhythmic Twirl Championship 2024. Also, on our way back, we actually passed this unfortunate collision of car and caravan. Fairly early, it's day 6 on the coast in a nature reserve. It's something we wanted to see. We found it online. Basically a wooden sculpture created by a controversial Swedish artist called Lars Vilka. Started creating this in 1980. He didn't get permission to build it. The local authorities then basically got to tear it down. Court battle ensued. Only logical thing, declare the area around it a nation called Ladonia, not under the control of the Swedish government. We have been told by various people and reviews online that dangerous is, I might regret saying that later. It's quite tricky to get to. It's made of old wood and lots of rusty nails, can in itself be dangerous. Deb does have some issues with her knees, may have to sit and wait it out a little bit, try and get as far as we can. So hopefully heading in the right direction. They don't particularly signpost it. Marks on trees apparently, but we need to get to the start of the trailhead first. Okay, we think we're on the right route. According to the map on my phone, we're kind of going past. We'll go a little bit further. So far it hasn't been too bad. Right, I can't see any this way. This is the main path. I haven't seen any signs yet. Aha, is that? So this is quite an adventure. Deb's doing great, bless her. Not sure she's going to get down the actual sculpture, but someone with arthritis in the knees and bad ankle. She's doing fantastic. So we've just seen a couple of hikers, asked them directions, and they said, yeah, don't get tricked into following the markers on the trees because there's all sorts of different routes. And a lot of people on the reviews have said it wasn't very well signposted. I think that's probably kind of the point. Hopefully heading on the right route now. It's getting steep, heading downhill. So let's hope it's okay for Deb. I think it's just down, probably about 200 foot down, and over that way. There's boat tours apparently, and there was a boat trundling around there. And I can hear voices kind of right below me, I think. So I'm in the right area. The question is whether there's nowhere on earth Deb can get down here. The plan at the moment is I'm going to head down So I went completely the wrong route, and the family we passed on the way up came back, met at exactly the same time, even taking a shortcut. So entered the port of Nimis. This is the way I'm coming out, and it's the way I should have come in. Not sure which was easier. So I'm waiting at the head of the trail because we separated. I went down to Nimis. Deb started to make her own way back the way we came. I came back the direct route. Yeah, she should be coming up here sometime soon. I can see glimmers of blue jeans and a peach t-shirt. Proud of you, darling. So I made it back. According to my Garmin, it's about 3.5 miles or so we walked. It's actually shorter than that if you take the right route, but it was more of an adventure because we took the wrong route. It's certainly an experience. I'm not sure how much longer this will last. The original artist has passed on, and it's basically being worn away by the weather and stuff as well. So if you want to go and visit it, do it soon. Well worth a trip, but you need to be fairly fit, and you need to be kind of able-bodied in terms of getting over rocks and stuff, because it is not just a walk in the forest. Okay, so it's day 7 of our trip, and we're going to leave Johnstrm this morning, heading up the coast towards slightly northwest of Gothenberg, a place called Lilla. Fairly short hop today. It's about 140, 150 miles, so shouldn't be too bad. We're not allowed to get there until about 1 o'clock. So we're in no major rush to get off, but it's also been spectacularly warm yesterday, and it's going to be warm or warmer today. So I want to try and really get the sun canopy down and get packed up before it gets too hot. Get on the road by about kind of like 9, half 9 or so. So just need to get all that done, and then I'll see you in the car on the journey up to Gothenberg. Day 7. We're here for 3 nights. We're going to be visiting Gothenberg tomorrow, and also some friends of Deb's from way back that live fairly close to here. It has been a long day today. It's only, I say, about 150 miles. The speed limit for caravans is 50 miles an hour. So that makes it at least a 3-hour journey. So I think the average today was about 33 miles. So 150 odd miles at 33 miles an hour average speed. It took us the best part of 5 hours. That was with a lunch stop. So with that, I'm quite tired, so I'm going to take a sleep now. We'll see you tomorrow. So we're on Gothenberg now. And not a bit of a journey getting here because the sat-nav was out of date. They closed a major section of the motorway, so that was some frantic moments. And we headed down to Lindum to catch the train. So we got a train up, pleasant train journey, but you had to buy a ticket on the train, or we did, and the lady, her machine wouldn't work, and she was just like, oh, get a ticket in the station, but there's nowhere to buy tickets in the station, so we're illegal at the moment. Anyway, we'll try and get a ticket on the way back somehow, and gonna have a look around Gothenberg. Some kind of celebration for someone's getting off the train, but I don't think anyone knows who it is apart from the train station staff. So I've just spent a couple of hours looking around Gothenburg, about 2 or 3 hours. I'll probably come back tomorrow, all being well. At the moment we're just waiting for the train back to Lindum, and then we're heading to a caravan dealership to see what that's like, and then on to some friends of Deb's. Now some kids have arrived and they're going to think I'm a raving idiot. So unfortunately, despite what it looked like on the website, they've not got any accessory shop here, and as beautiful as some of these caravans are, I wanted to look at the accessories and see what that sort of difference was between. It's interesting, the style of caravanning over here is definitely different. I think it's very similar to like when we were in Denmark. The length of that one, it's got to be about 10-12 meters long. I can't see anybody really towing that, apart from maybe once a year to a permanent season pitch, which is what a lot of them seem to do. Certainly some beautiful motorhomes, something we are possibly considering after a tour like this. Interesting. We'll try and find another caravan dealership to actually look at the accessories and see what the differences are between here and the UK. So it's 7:38, day 10 of our trip, leaving Gothenburg, heading off to central Sweden now. After a 5.5 hour journey, about 220 odd miles, we're here at campsite number 5, and we're here for 4 nights. It's got a kind of odd twist to it in terms of there's a church on site and they do a lot of youth activities and stuff like that, but it does look like a very nice site, nice facilities, and it's set of a large lake, and the views out across the lake are spectacular. They've got kayaks which we can rent out. I'm definitely going to try and get a kayak out on the lake, see if I can kill myself out there, and also possibly actually have a swim in the lake. Haven't swum in a lake since I was a kid, so that could be interesting if I pluck up the courage to do it. But it's been a long day, but an enjoyable day travelling The route up here was much slower because it wasn't major roads, a lot of just normal kind of dual carriageway road and stuff. It was a much more enjoyable trip up here because while the pace was slow, averaged I think about 33, 34. It's definitely a more enjoyable way to travel, and this part of Sweden really is very, very nice and pretty and enjoyable to travel through. So with all that said, there's a bit of noise in the background because they're having some kind of youth activity down on the beach, barbecue or something like that, but that will quieten down by 11 o'clock. It's been a long down the road, so I'll leave you with some shots of the lake and see you tomorrow morning. Probably going to regret this, but I'm off to hire a canoe. Decided against the kayak. So hire that for half a day and hopefully won't drown. It's really difficult going anywhere into the wind. If you're directly across it, you just get blown sideways. So, fun. I think I need to start paddling again, otherwise I'm going to hit the dock.
So Dave's out in the kayak. It's something he's always wanted to do. So he's gone out, but there's one hell of a crosswind. So we might see him, we might not. Coming in or?
And disused now, so let's get this. Minor panic, thought we'd lost the ND filter for the Osmo Pocket. If you ever get an Osmo Pocket, make sure you get an ND filter. This is a variable one, which is a bit more versatile. But yeah, we thought we'd lost it, and turned out it had fallen off in Debbie's bag. Anyway, we're at this old abandoned, I believe, copper mine. Absolutely, let's adjust this ND filter again. Deb's found something. Those of you of a sensitive disposition that don't like bugs won't like this bit. That is one big caterpillar. So as I was saying before Deb saw this enormous caterpillar, really cries out for a drone shot of this quarry, but there's a lot of people swimming and stuff. They want to disturb their afternoon swim. If enough people have gone, may try one. If there's a drone footage over the top of this voiceover, we managed to get it. If there isn't, we didn't. The quarry really did cry out for a drone shot, so a few days later I got up nice and early and drove up to the top car park at the quarry. And boy was it worth it. Yehezkel was the furthest north we actually took the caravan, but on day 12 we made the 194-mile round trip to Fallon to visit some more of Deb's Swedish friends. Unfortunately, due to technical issues and not being able to film in some of the locations, I didn't record any audio, so I'm narrating after the event. The trip was one of the nicest so far. Sweden really is an incredibly beautiful country, and the roads outside of the cities are almost empty. Driving solo allowed us to stop along the way, including at another caravan and motorhome dealership. Slightly larger range of accessories at this one, and the two sales guys I spoke to were very curious about the British caravan design when I showed them a photo of our van. Copper and gold has been mined in Fallon for more than 1,000 years, and the enormous mine had only ceased operations in 1992. The open excavation is pretty spectacular, and we also took a guided tour of the tunnels which go even further underground. If you've ever wondered, by the way, why so many of the wooden houses in Sweden are red, it's because the wood is treated with fallorodfalge, which is a wood distemper that is a byproduct of the mining in Fallon. Oh, and by the way, believe it or not, another byproduct from mining is fallokorv, which is a type of sausage. You can try them at the excellent museum restaurant at the mine. On our last day at Yehezkel, we visited the town of Nora, about 10 miles south of us. It's one of Sweden's best preserved wooden towns and on the shore of yet another beautiful lake. And also, by the way, at this point in the trip we started to notice that there are a lot of classic American cars actually used on the road in Sweden. The town is very pretty with original wooden houses and cobbled streets. We grabbed a Piccadilly from a local supermarket and ate it down by the lake. Piccadilly, by the way, is a kind of pick and mix salad bar that was fast becoming our favourite quick and fairly healthy meal to grab while we were out. Nora is also the site of Sweden's first normal or standard gauge railway, and there's a small railway museum, track and trains maintained by a preservation society. Also, on our way out of Nora, we saw our first A-tractor. Now, this is a normal car that has been speed restricted to 30 kilometers an hour and has this red triangle on the back to identify that it can be driven, believe it or not, by 15-year-olds. So it's day 15 of our trip, and I'm filming this now because I was just completely knackered yesterday after quite a stressful day. We have been suffering with a little bit of brake issues, getting a bit of shimmer off the brakes. Okay, so I'm obviously in holiday mode and waffling a bit, so to save time I'll give you the quick and shortened version. Throughout the trip so far, the car had developed some annoying shake from the front brake. Our next stop was going to be for 4 nights at a small basic site next to a canal about 10 miles north of the city of Linköping. So we decided to head down to there and then look for a garage to check the brakes whilst we were staying there. Before leaving the UK, the site owner had contacted us to actually say that due to some planning issues they had changed the site, so wasn't going to charge us for the stay. When we actually reached the site, it turned out that the changes were to move the vans away from the canal and much closer to the main road. And with 4 nights planned and the need to possibly leave the car in Linköping, we decided to find an alternative site. So we left the caravan all locked up at the site temporarily, drove into the city to find a garage, and it turns out there's a shortage of mechanics in Sweden, so after a couple of failed attempts we were directed to the local Toyota dealership, who were absolutely fantastic. They test drove the car and diagnosed a slow piston on the caliper and basically said it was safe to drive back to the UK. So then it was back to the canal site to pick up the van before heading back into the outskirts of Linköping, where we found another site. All in all, a long and stressful day, but the right decision in the end. So it's the end of day 17 on our tour, and it's just going into the last night of our stay here at Linköping, which is not at the campsite which we were supposed to be at. We had planned a more kind of rural site about 9 miles north of Linköping, but we turned up there and yeah, there's a bit of backstory, but yeah, it wasn't going to be for us, and we kind of thought, no, if we stay there, we're not going to be happy. So we found a site here, not the sort of site we would normally stay at, but it's literally just on the outskirts of Linköping, which is a fairly large town or city, and it's actually been better than where we were before because we're so close to Linköping. So we went this first day we were here, we actually went into Linköping We went round, there's a museum at the cathedral there, and that was actually quite a good museum, showing lots of things about armour and stuff like that, so that was quite good, and a bit of time around, as I say, Lingstad town centre itself, and it's quite a nice city to look around. Then yesterday there's an aircraft museum literally 2 miles away. In fact, if you do stay here in Linköping, you will very often hear loud jets, which will actually be Saab Gripen fighter jets flying over, because there is also a Saab factory here, as well as a couple of airfields. And today we went into Gamla Linköping, which is Old Linköping in Swedish, and looked around there, which is kind of like a historical kind of block of houses. A lot of it is reconstructed, so they're original houses, I believe, which they then moved and put into this place. So people have donated the house but not the land, and then moved that there. So there's a lot of little kind of arts and crafts shops, and it's all done as like a historic village type setting. So it's actually been a really enjoyable stay while we've been here, just not what we were originally planning. As I've mentioned before, we're heading kind of like second half of August now, so from a Swedish point of view, this is heading out of the school holidays, so there's a lot less kids around on the sites, and this site probably would be a bit too busy for us at normal times, but it's still large, spacious pitches, facilities are pretty good, it's a first campsite, and yeah, it's been a good stay. So with that, I'm going to get myself some tea, get to bed, and up early in the morning because we've got another day's travelling. So here we are again, day 18, transferring from Linköping down towards Carlskrona, not quite as far as Carlskrona, just 20 miles outside of Carlskrona, down on the southeast coast of Sweden. Only 175 miles on this journey, so probably going to be about 4 hours. Anyway, so Deb's hopefully coming back now, and off we go. This is one of the great things of travelling in Sweden, is that whilst the journeys take longer, especially when towing, the services along the way and the roads generally, there's lots less traffic, there's less people at the services here, massive car parks, big bays for caravans and motorhomes and stuff, and a place for selling coffee and other bits and pieces. Toilets haven't been in them, but there's toilet facilities, chemical toilet emptying facilities and so on. So yeah, for a touring holiday, Sweden's perfect really. Don't expect quick journeys where you're covering hundreds of miles, you know, in just a few hours or something. It's slow and steady progress, and very, very, very beautiful scenery. Our last multi-night stop was perhaps the most old-school traditional campsite that I've stayed on for a long time. With just one open field, it catered to more tents and basic camping style, just like the good old days. With a lake close by, we had to give early morning lake swimming one last try for the holiday, and despite being further south, it felt way colder than the Yehezkel garden. So we didn't capture it last time. We're going to go swimming again, and I think it's going to be slightly colder than it was last time. Okay, run out of steps. I don't think three's going to do it. Holy cow, that's cold. There's something scary about being in open water and not being able to touch the bottom. You're going to dive in and get me if I drown. Holy cow, it's fresh. Now, I actually have some friends in Carlskrona and they took us for a drive around Sweden's only Baroque city, pointing out all of the local landmarks and explaining their history. If you're watching, Martin and Maud, thank you for showing us around your beautiful city. On their advice, we took a boat trip the following day, which didn't go quite as planned. Our intention, as recommended, was to catch the hop-on, hop-off tour which stops at various places around the coast of the city's multiple islands. Unfortunately, the summer season timetable had ended and somehow we ended up instead on an hour-and-a-half trip out to the island of Lingstad, which wasn't what we had planned, but the weather was glorious and the scenery was beautiful, so all part of the adventure. The trip also passed the naval base and there's been a marked increase in security over the past few years, so no filming near the base was permitted. In the afternoon, we parked closer to the town centre and explored the city some more. And whilst parking, something happened that we really weren't expecting. I just have to kind of, record this because we've just parked in Carlskrona, just outside the kind of main town centre, if you like, and faffing around trying to park and get the parking ticket done on the app. And a lady walked beside the car and sort of waved at us. And at first I thought, oh no, she's going to tell us we can't park here or something. And when I went down the window, she said, "Are you from Great Britain, UK?" Yes. She goes, "Great Britain, fantastic. I love it when I see cars with UK on. I love Great Britain. Thank you and welcome." So yeah, first time I think that's ever happened anywhere. But yeah, the Swedes are friendly and they do seem to, for some reason, like the British, which is great. So anyway, just thought I'd record that. We've got a 100-mile journey today. Should take about 3 hours-ish with stops and stuff. Driving away, leaving station. So we've got roadworks ahead, and what the Swedes tend to do is they literally put a slalom in. So we're going from 2 lanes into 1. They've blocked off the left-hand lane. They've also partially blocked off the right-hand lane. So we're now doing a slalom. The idea being that if you're coming down there at 80 miles an hour, which you shouldn't be doing anyway, then you're not going to be able to just shoot straight through that. So you have to slow down. This basically is the end of our kind of holiday section of our tour. We've had an absolutely fantastic time going around Sweden. We've done a lot of miles. I'll put on the screen how many miles we've done, staying at, I think it's 6 or 7 sites in Sweden. Hopefully watching this series of videos has encouraged you to take a bit more an adventurous trip with the caravan or motorhome, and perhaps even visit Sweden, because it is really an absolutely beautiful place to come and visit. The people are so friendly, wonderful scenery, not as dramatic as other Nordics like Norway and stuff, but in some ways more accessible. There's not massive mountains, but equally the views are fantastic and they're more accessible to get there. There are so many lakes and rivers, and you can access, legally you can access all of them in terms of walking along the coast, but physically you can actually access a lot of them as well. So absolutely brilliant place to visit, fantastic facilities for caravanning. I'm going to cover that in one of the other episodes in terms of the detail of the caravanning stuff, but in terms of things to do, there's loads of stuff to do as well. So highly recommend you visit if you're able. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, then do please hit that like button. And if you're interested in seeing other videos I make, particularly the video which will probably start straight after this one for me, in terms of how we actually then made it out of Sweden, got all the way back home again via a different route from how we got here, then please do subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon to be notified of new videos I post. But as always, most of all, thanks for watching.